Hello everyone, this is for IB Psychology students and our today's ERQ is evaluate research on the role of hormones of one or more hormones in human behavior. So like the command term says that evaluate means in this ERQ we need to focus on the strengths and weaknesses of what? So it says role of hormones in human behavior means you need to write supporting studies from biological approach hormones topic and write the strengths and weaknesses of the same. So let's see how we answer the question. Let's get started. Okay, so first I start with the introduction, and this is what I write in my introduction. Hormones are a class of chemicals that are secreted by glands within our endocrine system. Hormones seem to be responsible for some human behavior. Two hormones are cortisol and adrenaline, both related to the fight or flight response, also play a role in memory. Two studies that examine the role of these hormones on memory were carried out by Mecca and Cahill and Newcomer. Hormones can be studied either by changing the level of hormones in the blood or by blocking hormone receptor sites, target cells in the brain. So what I've done is first 3 lines I have written as an introduction, that is what are hormones, and then I have written any 2 hormones, I have named them and what all studies I'm going to use in my ERQ. So this is very important that after introduction you mention that which all studies you are going to talk about and which all 2 or 4 hormones you are going to talk about. So next is my supporting study that I have written in my next paragraph. Metcalf and Cahill 1995 carried out a lab experiment in order to study the effect of the hormone adrenaline on flashbulb memory. The participants of the experiment were divided into 3 conditions. The participants were told very different stories about a young boy using 12 slideshows. After the story, the participants were asked to rate their level of emotion and were then invited back 2 weeks later to answer questions about the story to assess their memory of it. The first condition involved a mundane story in which the boy visits the workplace of his father. The second condition was told a tragic story in which the boy is involved in a car accident and his leg severed and eventually reattached in the hospital. The third condition involved the same tragic story, but the participants were given a beta blocker that blocks adrenaline receptor sites on the amygdala. The researchers found that the group who was read the mundane story performed significantly worse than the tragic story group. The participants assigned to the beta blocker condition rated their emotions the same as the tragic story group, but answered questions just as accurately as the group who were told a mundane story. These results suggest that adrenaline plays a key role in the formation of flashbulb memory. This can be attributed to the location of adrenal receptor sites on the amygdala, a part of the brain playing a major role in emotional processing and formation of memory. Now, since the question command term is evaluate, we need to write the strengths and weaknesses of the same. So this is again very, very important that you must write in your ERQ. I have written in my next paragraph the limitations and the strengths. So this is what I write. The study has some serious limitations. First, the group that had the traumatic story could have long-term effects as a result of hearing the story. This means that the results are irreversible, which is an ethical problem. Secondly, the people were deceived in the story, not knowing that they were going to hear a tragic story. The strength of the study was that the researchers had received consent. Another limitation is that the participants were all students. This means that the results cannot be generalized. Now I write my second supporting study after I'm done with the evaluation of the first one. So this is what I write. Newcomer et al. 1999 aimed to study the effects of the stress hormone cortisol on verbal declarative memory. Participants were randomly allocated to one of 3 conditions. Participants in the high cortisol group were given a tablet containing 160 mg of cortisol every day for 4 days. The second condition was given low levels of cortisol with a 40 mg pill every day. The third group was the control group who was given a placebo tablet containing no cortisol. Each of the 4 days, the participant would be instructed to listen to a prose paragraph and recall parts of it. In order to test them for the ability of their verbal declarative memory, the researchers found that the group of participants given high levels of cortisol performed the worst and their performance decreased each day. they took the tablet. Interestingly, the condition that did the best was the one receiving a small level of the stress hormone. They performed slightly better than the placebo group. This suggests that the hormone cortisol can be beneficial to memory in small amounts but detrimental in large. So next I write is again the problem, that is the evaluation, the strengths and the weaknesses. Similar to the study by McGall and Cahill, the study has ethical problems. The first group was exposed to undue stress or harm. The cortisol would raise their stress levels, leaving them feel uneasy for the 4 days. In addition, it could have long-term effects on their health. However, like McGall and Cahill, they had informed consent. Finally, the study cannot be generalized because it was only done on Americans. Other cultures may memorize differently, and so cortisol might be not be as effective. Now, my last paragraph that I'm going to write is the conclusion. So I'm done with the introduction, the aim of the study, 2 supporting studies, its evaluation, strengths and weaknesses, and my last is conclusion, and this is what I write. Studies by Mecca and Cahill 1995 and by Newcomer et al. 1999 both support the idea that hormones play a key role in human behavior. The researchers investigated the effects of adrenaline and cortisol on flashbulb and verbal declarative memory. Both studies allow researchers to explain common human behaviors, for example, why emotional traumatic memories are easily and vividly remembered, or why people have a hard time recalling information under high levels of stress. So well, here I am done with this ERQ and I hope you understood it well, and if you have any questions at all about the same, please write your questions or your queries in the comment section below. And if you liked my video, please like, share and subscribe. And if you want any IB material at all, or you want me to give you a class of on psychology on some topic, be it English or in Hindi, I can use these 2 languages and prepare a lesson for you, and I can upload the video in a week's time. So do let me know if you need any help in yours for your psychology class.